Alright, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We continue our lessons in week 5 with the preparation of mock meeting, because according to syllabus we have to submit a mock meeting. Alright, you have to record a mock meeting and you have to submit the documentation of meeting, including minutes of meeting, notice, and agenda. Right, so for the content of this pre-recorded video, I will explain about the step in doing a mock meeting. All right, and then second is submission detail, which platform that you are going to use and what type of format that you have to use. And the third one is the evaluation aspect that I look at to evaluate you when you do mock meeting, and what I look at your documentation when I evaluate the task. Meeting, this is actually the step that you need to do. First is make sure the secretary of the group, you have to submit the official notice and agenda. Make sure in the PDF format at the meeting chat, which is actually the online forum. All right, I will create the platform for you to submit both notice and agenda. Okay, after that you can do the online mock meeting. All right, I think you can use Microsoft Teams in the channel of your group. And make sure when you do a mock meeting you record the session so I can look at it and evaluate your mock meeting. Okay, meeting must be guided based on the agenda, and the duration of the meeting is for approximately to 30 minutes to 45 minutes. You make sure your main guide is your agenda, what you have planned before this. Sample of agenda. Okay, this is actually example of ordinary club, like our club in KPM Manawa. This is actually archery club of KPM Manawa. Okay, the first item is actually chairman address. This is compulsory, followed by apologies for absent, will be announced by the secretary. And then the third is minute of the last meeting. The secretary must read, not actually read, but she or he must ask the meeting members to check whether there are mistake and amendment to be made. All right, and then matters arising out of minute, it is compulsory to be put in the agenda. But then if you don't have any matter arising, you can say no matter arising out of minute. All right, and then second one is optional. You don't need to put if you don't want to put it. First is actually corresponding or the letter that related to the organization, and then we have report, also optional. And then we have special business is actually this actually very specific. This is a main agenda of the meeting. You have to be specific because you have to put numbering like 7.1, 7.2, and 7.3. All right, what is actually the specific special business or thing that you want to discuss in this item. All right, and then last is any other business is also compulsory to be done. A date, time, place of the next meeting will be announced by the chairman, and last is closure by the chairman. All right, if we have many members, like maybe 6 to 7, you can do what we call the corresponding and reports, because you want to prolong and we want to give an equal chance to everybody to speak. All right, I don't want anybody in the meeting become so passive, including the secretary, because you should take part, especially in a special business, to voice out your opinion, to give justification, to debate maybe, all right, to argue wisely in the meeting. Of agenda of a company, maybe private company. Okay, this is actually like Johor Corporation. This is a state GLC, if I'm mistaken. All right, you can put a chairman address and then apologies for absent by the secretary. Minute of the last meeting, matter arising out of minute. Okay, the first 4 items is actually compulsory item that you need to put in your agenda, whether it has or not. All right, and then report is optional, and then special business, again you have to specify. All right, 6.1, 6.2, and 6.3, and then any other business, date, time, place of next meeting, and closure. All right, this is a bit different from the previous agenda. We will talk about the orientation of the organization. Maybe if you are club of school or college, you may discuss something about students program, for example. But if you are a company, this is actually the example of the activity in the special business that you should discuss. All right, how do you actually elaborate more on your special business? Because special business actually the main agenda during the mock meeting. What you need to do, to make sure you can extend a little bit of time, okay? Because of maybe the item is not really important, okay? We just maybe do in a very short time. But for special business, you have to prolong it a bit. Okay, for example, I take example from, I guess this is from Jacob agenda. All right, the previous slide before this. Okay, what you need to do, for example, okay, Agriculture Fest 2020. All right, for example, you want to discuss about who are going to organize the event. Who's the project manager? All right, and when and where the event will take place. Okay, you have to justify. The members of the meeting need to justify why you choose the date and place, all right, for this event, Agricultural Fest 2020. All right, and how you get fund to run this event, right? Is it from sponsorship, or maybe the fees from participant? Okay, all of these need to be discussed thoroughly in your special business scene is the main agenda. All right. Okay, second special business is actually Entrepreneur Convention 2020. Okay, who is the target audience to this event? Right? What is the main objective of the event? When and where the event will take place, and you have to actually justify the date that you are chosen for this event. All right, and then last is the launch of Johor International Wakaf Conference again. Okay, when and where? All right, and then who will be invited to officiate launch the event? Who's the VVIP? Maybe minister, or maybe the politician. All right. Uh, okay, if you look every special business, some of the discussion need voting process. For example, you need vote who are going to organize the event. All right. Well, even though the chairman can just simply, okay, I appoint Mr. Ali to organize the event, for example, or to become the project manager. But then, if you want to prolong it, you want to everybody in this meeting can speak more. You can actually uh, have this process. All right, somebody will say, okay, I suggest, all right, Mr. Ali to become the project manager, and then somebody second, yes, I second Mr. Ali because he has experience, blah blah blah. And then after that, everyone maybe have a discussion on that, and maybe they have their own reason in choosing some people to become the project manager. And then at the end of the discussion, what the chairman can do is actually he or she can do the voting process. All right, and then the result of the voting, by maybe I just simply by showing hand, because you have 4 to 6 members. I think showing hand is the one of the best method. And then you can actually uh, announce the result, okay, from the voting, and you can actually specify whether the voting is the motion is carried unanimously, or maybe a slim majority, or maybe if you want to create as a defeated. So this actually basically uh, uh, the discussion that need you to have a voting process. And of course, you need a motion, you have somebody propose, and then second, and then a resolution, and so on. All right, I think you have learned this before. I want to highlight which part do you can actually need a voting process for that. All right, for the mock meeting, the time is actually flexible. You can do in the morning, in the afternoon, or at night. All right, but the due date you have to complete before to 26th of August 2021, which is you have in about 2 weeks to complete, uh, which is in week 5 and week 6, the mock meeting. All right, I think the better platform we can use is Microsoft Teams, because we can record and everybody has account to enter or access Microsoft Teams. All right, the notice and agenda submission you must submit on this week, which is week 5, before the mock meeting is conducted. All right, and the minute submission is actually after the meeting, which is week 7, before 2nd of 2nd of September 2021. All right, both of documentation. All right, I hope you can send it in the PDF format. All right, and you can actually submit it in the meeting chat, which is the online forum. I will create the platform for you to submit this documentation. Okay, first is actually notice agenda before the meeting, and after the meeting, usually a week after the meeting, before in week 7 is actually the minutes. All right, so make sure a secretary prepare this documentation. All right, for the mock meeting evaluation, the weightage, yeah, the percentage that we will take from this mock meeting is quite big, yeah, because of from the mock meeting, the individual skills during the meeting is 25%, and for the documentation, which is notice, agenda, and minutes, all right, we will evaluate you 30% from the whole mark. Okay, so overall is 55% from the mock meeting. Okay, 25 for individual and 30 is actually the group marks. Right, this is actually the rubric of the mock meeting. Okay, this is actually group. Okay, it's like a checklist. Okay, for example, you have a chairperson address. The address. So is it the chairman have an opening remark, a purpose of the meeting? All right. Is it secretary do apologies of absent? Okay. In each stage, okay, if you do, you will get 1 mark. Okay, until the end, until item number 10, which is closure. All right, you have to focus more on the item number 5, which is special business. Okay, because you have a proposer, seconder. That means somebody you need to propose of the motion on the special business, and somebody need to second it. Okay, and then what is actually a motion statement. Make sure you have justification and have a discussion or debate. All right, after that, chairman need to do a voting process that I talked before. And last but not least, don't forget about resolution. I mean, if the if the motion is carried at least slim majority, you need to do a resolution. Okay, if the motion is just is defeated, sorry, okay, you don't need to put as a resolution. Right, so this is actually checklist. If you do each stage or each item, you will get whether 1 mark or half mark. Okay, all right, this one is actually the individual evaluation. All right, where we will look at you per se as an individual, whether you are chairman or maybe committee members or secretary. Okay, first is your vocal expression. Okay, if you have a very good vocal expression, you will get 4. All right, and then your clarity. Okay, the vocal expression we have two. First is expressiveness, your voice usage, and second, whether your voice is clear or not. All right, and then we have audibility, whether I as a evaluator can hear your voice clearly, and then eye contact. All right, and then your movement of your body, I mean your gestures. All right, during the meeting, uh, we will look at you as an individual, not a group. So apart from the group, you also have your responsibility to perform as an individual. Okay, apart from the mock meeting, you also have meeting documentation evaluation, where from number 1 until number 10 is actually the item. We will look at the format. For example, if you have a list of name, chairperson address, apologies for absent, method arising of the minute, until confirmed by and recorded by. If you don't put it in your minute of meeting, you will lose your mark. Okay, each item, uh, the mark is actually half mark. Okay, so Don't forget, and please check thoroughly before you submit this documentation to me. Okay, last but not least is actually the language. We also look at your documentation in terms of your language, your grammar, your sentence structure, all right, your maybe vocabulary, all right, your organization, your coherent and cohesiveness, and also the punctuation, the mechanic, whether you use full comma, all right, and full stop accordingly or not. Okay, so basically, if you do well, I can give you 3 to 4, right? I rarely give 2 to 1 to student because of unless if you don't, I mean you don't check or you don't proofread your documentation, your especially your minute of meeting and also your notice and agenda. So make sure you can score at least 3 and above for this language evaluation. Okay guys, I think that's it for today. Thank you so much for your attention. If you have question, you can ask to me. You can PM me in the WhatsApp group. Thank you.